Hello, and today we will be having an interview with four students about what they learned in their result class. So, for the first question, we have what are your thoughts on Rizal's El Filibusterismo now that you've gained a deeper understanding of the topic and the themes of the book?
Rizal's works, particularly El Filibusterismo, was a product of his brilliance and his first-hand experiences of the bigotry and aristocracy of the Spaniards. Most authors would usually say that it is hard to separate your character's life from your own experiences, so I wasn't really surprised when I learned that his works were almost autobiographical. But from the facts that I learned about this novel, I could really feel the scorching passion to free the Philippines from its colonizers. Whether it was portrayed by Rizal's fictional characters that might be based on real life people and events that were deeply rooted in inequality and corruption, or from the known and unsung heroes of our motherland.
That was a great answer. So, for question number two, I'd like to ask what are the themes and topics that are still relevant to this time?
Even during this day, the Philippines still suffers from a widespread of corruption. The corruption in the government had its origins from the ancients of Filipinos. These were exacerbated by Spanish friars and officials with the onset of colonial rule. But, unlike back then, the Spaniards were the problem. But now, we Filipinos have become the problem, especially our government, who holds a higher position of power and are abusing it by their own personal and private benefits. And it's sad to say this, but we're only replacing what the Spaniards left behind by another form of corruption, which is the downfall of our very own society.
Well, I do think you're right that we're both the cause and the solution to our own problems. Now, for question number three, I'd like to ask what have you learned or what are your insights from the novel?
I've realized that we can still link ourselves in current events to the events described in Rizal's novel during Spanish colonization, no matter how old it is. Even though we're no longer enslaved, we're still kept on the dark about our government's true intentions. Many of the politicians are in direct opposition of the actions that they present to the public. I guess through Rizal's novel, we want us to realize that a peaceful war is a good solution since no one will be sacrificed. Just like today, rallies and people fighting for their demands and right in a peaceful way can be an eye-opener for some. Indeed, to part of these masterpieces ignited and imparted patriotism to all of us Filipinos.
Now, for the last question, I'd just like to ask do you have anything to impart on the youth given the fact that you've gone through this course and everything? And what would you like to share?
My message to the youth is to not be dazzled by power because nothing good will come out of it. Well, power isn't inherently evil, and it's not inherently bad to seek power. It's the abuse of power and the underhanded things people do just to achieve it that causes problems. One of which is corruption. We all know that corruption is still very prevalent in this day and age. And if we can make the youth realize that with great power comes with great responsibilities, then maybe one day, when they are already in a position where they can use their power for the better good of everyone, we could perhaps solve the problem that has been going on for centuries. When power is pursued for the right reasons, it can be a tremendous force of good.
Well, that was it for the interview, and I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you learned something as well. Goodbye!